Boys and girls from across the decentralized world, you've taken the dev pill and you want to know, can I actually go from being a insert whatever wagey job here? Can I go from being someone who works at McDonald's to being a software developer? Is it even possible? Is this within the realm of possibility? You want to go from being an absolute loner to being a shadowy supercoder? Well, yes, you can, and I can prove it. And I'm going to teach you guys how to do that tonight. Sorry for my absence, my tardiness, friends. I got stuck in a well. Harry Zikos in the house says, boom, baby, indeed. Max Anitas says, just eat the ladybugs. Look, guys, just eat the bugs, okay? If we all just start, and if we all just accept that we're going to have to eat the bugs, then things will just start moving a lot faster and smoother for all of us, okay? So, everyone out there, go back to the nearest, go outside to your nearest patch of grass and pick up whatever bug you guys can, put it in your mouth and enjoy, all right? New Horizon says, minimalism. Can't lose anything if you have nothing. Cough, JK, of course. Well, we're not going to lose anything tonight, are we? Cody Moose in the Who says, step one, quit your job, be a man. Wow, round of applause for Cody Moose in the Hoos. He was very right. Step two, avoid Ruby on Rails. Yeah, unfortunately, we have a member of DD who can't avoid Ruby on Rails right now. Can we? We blah 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 blah? We can't say that, can we? Ruby on Rails, it's okay. Ruby on Rails not so bad. Oh, I avoid Ruby on Rails like Objective C. What would you guys prefer? Ruby on Rails to build a project in, or to build a project in Objective C? Actually, let's add a third one in there, or to build a project in Visual Basic. What do you guys prefer? Reverse the bugs. I only code in Subjective C. Amen. Amen. All right, guys. Give me a second because you guys know that I'm tardy. So let me get caught up here with my notes. Okay. And let me drink this caffeinated, delicious French press coffee. If you guys didn't know, I prefer French press coffee to any kind of fucking machine coffee out there. Oops, I said the F word. It's all over. It's all over. I like French press, guys. Sue me. I'm willing to look, I don't like to waste time. I'm willing to put the extra 15 minutes of time into making a French press coffee because to me, it just works. TM. Objective C for sure. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't think that would be for me, man. Gee, dog, that's not for me. Okay, go. So, guys, as proof, and I guess if you guys absolutely need to, I can go ahead and show you guys some screenshots, or you guys can go to developerdirection.com and you go to the success stories page, and read them yourself. But as someone, as an individual who owns this, we'll say, studious institution, this academy for software developers, software engineers, anyone in IT, we've had various people come from basically like things like such as barbacks at a restaurant. In fact, literally, he was a barback at a restaurant and a barista at Starbucks, and he has a YouTube channel. The name is Self-Taught Hustle, so you guys can go and check that out, and you guys can go and see that I'm not lying. He was the first, but there's been many more, and even people who were literally unemployed to be working as a developer now, okay? So, obviously, there's a few steps in that process, right? You can't just wake up out of bed one day and just say, hey, okay, I'm going to go and become a six-figure digital nomad, shadowy supercoder, even though I know absolutely nothing, right? I think everyone here can understand that. I think everyone understands that that's a little unrealistic to just say you're just going to wake up and go apply for jobs, and especially a job such as like a software developer, which actually requires tangible hard skill. You're not just born with that, right? Everyone in agreement on this? If you're not in agreement that you're not just born with that kind of talent, then I don't know, exit out of my stream and go back to the nonsensical world that you live in, okay? But that being said, obviously there are some steps to this process. This takes some thought. This takes some strategy. I would suggest getting a network of people. Even if you don't join my network or our network, go join some literal network. Go pick people's brains, come up with a plan. But what makes or breaks people, and what are these small strategic steps that you can do? Little added benefits, little added benefits that you sprinkle on stuff here and there that'll actually help you, which most people don't even consider a lot of this stuff. Okay. Now, the first step, obviously, you have to learn to code. Okay. I think that's pretty self-explanatory, right? That in of itself, that is an entire process. I won't sit and take the stream up here tonight. Light, what do you need, bud? I won't sit and take the entire stream to discuss that tonight, but let's just all say that the first step is that you have to learn how to code. Okay? Capiche? We got that out of the way. All right. So once you've learned how to code, which who knows, that could take you anywhere between 1 to 18 months for you to know enough to feel comfortable. 18 months being on the longer end, 1 month being on the extreme short end, where like maybe like 5% of people are going to be in that 1 month range. Okay, literally 5% of all, and 5% of people who I have as clients, but not like, honestly, if we're talking about the percentage of humanity, it's probably like less than 1%. If I'm being honest with you guys, okay, literally probably less than 1%. So let's just say you're in the 50th percentile, and it's going to take you about 8 months for you to feel comfortable enough, or for you to have other people tell you, hey, you're good, you know what to do, you're ready to roll. What else do you do in this situation? Well, you need to have something to show that you know how to code, regardless of whether or not you have a college degree, or you're self-taught, or you have a certificate, or Ronald McDonald gave you a printed receipt that says, hey, here's your Big Mac receipt, and this guy also knows how to code. Whether or not George W. Bush comes to your interview that you're having with your company, or your prospective client that's going to pay you for software, and tells everybody that you guys know how to code, you need a GitHub, okay? You don't have to trust me for it. You don't have to trust me on this. You'll figure it out when you get to that road. You will get to that bridge. You're going to cross it, whether or not you believe me, but you need a GitHub, okay? It's a matter of fact. In fact, a majority of people that are going to be interviewing you, they're going to ask, even on the literal applications, probably before you even speak to Susan in HR on the phone to go through the quick 15-minute phone screening, probably before even that happens, they're going to ask you on the application to submit a link to your GitHub portfolio, okay? Now, I believe I literally did a stream last week on some of the top things that you can do to cover your baseline on GitHub. So if you guys don't know, if you don't have a strategy for that, you can go and check that video out on my recent playlist. But if you do, or you've seen that video, then okay, we got that step covered, right? We have our GitHubs, we have our badge of honor, we have our trophy case, we have our tangible code that we wrote, right? Because you can't just copy and paste stuff. If you're going to be bootstrapping, that's one thing. But if you're going to be just straight up copying and pasting other people's code, you're cruising for a bruising. Because if you get into the point to where you're in one of these interviews and they actually start to ask you about your code, which most of these people, they might. It happens, right? I can tell you guys, out of the 6 or 7 different software development, software engineer jobs that I've worked at, about half of them actually asked me about specific things in my GitHub code. And you know what else is funny, guys? I probably should have mentioned this on that GitHub video. So in my GitHub, which is quite old, all right? It's back from like 2011, maybe 2012, maybe, I don't think 2010, probably 2011 the earliest, okay? I used to just use that as a college student who would get numerous amounts of new computers repeatedly because he was breaking them or losing them. And I just hosted my code there, right? I would literally put unfinished projects on this thing for myself, right? Version control, source control. My devs out there, you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. And I actually got really far on like a 4th round interview with this. We'll just say it was a large financial company, and I was doing really good with these people, and it seemed like I'd already passed a technical assessment. Okay, and the guys in developer direction, you guys know what I'm talking about. At least the older guys who were around for the story. And the guy asked me about some unfinished C# project that I had in my repo from like right about 2012, right about the beginning of the time that I created that GitHub portfolio. And he was like, there's some like spelling errors in here, and this isn't an array buffer for you guys out there who are devs and know what I'm talking about. I built an array buffer in C# and it was unfinished. Anyway, the guy went and looked, he scraped all of my GitHub, so much so to the point where he went and found stuff from 2012 that was old, like it was just a junk repository that I had this code in. And that lost me the opportunity at this place. Okay. So the point is to this story, if you go back and watch my GitHub video, or let's say you already have a solid strategy to building a very good and stacked GitHub, then make sure that you go and clean it up. And if you have repos on there that you know are old or junk or garbage, and you just don't want to delete them like me because you're just like, I can't delete anything, just make it private. Make it private so they can't see it, okay? Make it heckin' private. Couldn't Moose in the Who says, next time I'm in Miami, I'm bringing my V60. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Yes, here's the link to Self-Taught Hustles channels. Mudbugs. Well, as a true small town Southern man from good old New Orleans, Louisiana, and as you guys can see, you guys might not know, this is a Cafe Du Monde. This is an official Cafe Du Monde cup TM from the official French Market coffee stand in New Orleans, Louisiana. I have eaten my fair share of mudbugs, but I'm not partial to them, man. I actually don't like crawdaddies too much, if I'm being honest with you. I think I prefer a lobster because I don't like to sit there and peel them. I'd rather just crack open one lobster and then basically you have the equivalent of like 10 little crawdads. Max Anita says 8 months can feel like a long ass time when you're already working a non-coding job. Yeah, it can, but that time can also fly by if you're doing nothing and you look back and you say, well, that was 8 months wasted. Wade Emery in the house, what's up? Christian Soto says, good evening. They're too much work? Oh, yeah. Yeah, the crawdads, yeah, they are, man. If we're being honest, they're too much work, man. Way too much work. I'd rather have a trusty servant peel my crawdads for me in a studious manner with his pinky in the air. Light. You guys see this dog? He just went for a walk and he still needs some attention. You need some attention, buddy. You need to practice some patience, Light, because patience, Light, is a virtue. And look, Light, everyone can see you. Everyone can see how poorly behaved you are. You're not being a distinguished gentleman right now. That Light is a nice touch. Thank you. How about this one? Can you guys see this one yet? Ah, yes. Yes. It's a distinguished second Light. Yes. Yes. I built these with my two bare hands, guys. I built them with my bare hands. Don't ask me how. All right. So obviously learn how to code, right? Have a stacked GitHub repository. Okay. And I probably didn't mention this in the stream where I discussed what you need to have a GitHub for, what its purpose is, and regardless of the things that I said that you guys need on there, a GitHub's good because especially if you're learning how to code, it keeps you accountable, guys. It keeps you accountable because you have a thing that requires, we consider this like a gas tank. It's going to be empty and you have to fill that sucker up. Okay. It keeps you accountable. If you go back and look at it and it's a desolate, barren GitHub and there's nothing in there, you're gonna be like, I obviously didn't build anything, so I actually don't know how to code, period. So it keeps you accountable. That's important. And we've already talked about how people are going to look at your GitHub portfolio, especially prospective employers. And also, guys, believe it or not, even if people don't know how to code and you're talking about just going and let's just say you're doing your own thing, starting your own software company or being a private contractor, people are savvy enough. A lot of people, they're going to spend like $100,000 on software for you and your software company to build. Make no mistake, they're going to do their due diligence when they're spending that kind of money, and they're going to go look and make sure that you actually do have a GitHub with code in it, and you're not just some random fake shadowy supercoder. So regardless of, honestly, guys, regardless of any situation, if you are going to learn how to code and you plan to monetize your skill from said coding, you need to have GitHub, okay? And it helps organize your code too. So, what's the next thing you can do? And I'm going to talk about right now specifically something that you can do for when you are going to go ask for a job, or rather apply for a job as a W-2 employee for a corporate organization. And maybe you're a small organization too. Maybe you're going to be a 1099 private contractor through this company. But regardless, when you're going through, we'll say the traditional route of somebody going to apply as an hourly or salaried employee somewhere. So here's one of the most person-dependent things that's involved in this process, especially with your resume, okay? So, and you know what, guys? Allow me to show you guys my actual GitHub. I'll use, not my GitHub, my LinkedIn. I will use my LinkedIn as an example for this stream, okay? Just give me 1 second here, fellas. MC says, I can't wait until I'm good to go on Coding Master. Yes, indeed. Chad Donor Schwann's in the house. My friend, my subscriber with my favorite name. Says, yes, a distinguished small town Southern gentleman. Light, you're not a small town Southern gentleman anymore. You're a Miami kid now. You point at lizards. Matt W in the house is easy bugs. Easy bugs indeed. Okay, guys. So allow me to shamelessly share my LinkedIn because, I mean, well, I am indeed the supreme guava farmer, and my name is already out there into the universe, so I'm doxxed. Here I go, doxing myself. Okay, guys. So this is the back end, the back door to my LinkedIn. Now, why is this important? Well, obviously, as you guys can see, I have a professional picture. That helps, okay? Now, is that the end-all, be-all? No. But you definitely need a picture on there. Even if you're a cave-dwelling, neckbeard, bug, soylent green eating, spotted German short-hair pointer, you need to have a picture, okay? You need to have a picture. You can't just be a faceless avatar, okay? It doesn't have to be a professional picture taken by a photographer. Shout out to my neighbor next door in the condo next to me, as he is a literal professional photographer. Anytime I need a professional picture, I can just go over to him. But you need to have a good photo, okay? This nonsense that I have with the background right here, you guys don't need that. But what is important about my LinkedIn? Yes, look at Shirika Shah says, hi, Josh. Saw we're both involved in the tech space, and I thought I'd reach out and connect. Hope all is well. Guys, what do you guys want me to say? Should I say happy to connect? Should I do the auto default response here? Okay, guys, I'll say I'm happy to connect. Me. All right, so let's actually go to my profile, and so you guys can actually see what the hell I'm talking about and why this is important. All right. So, and like I said prior to this, what I'm about to talk about right now is going to be very nuanced and person dependent, because everybody is going to have a different resume, okay? And everybody's going to have a different history. Maybe some people have zero employment or work history, and maybe some people have a vast array of different industries they've worked in, different positions that they worked in. Maybe some people are 21, 18, 19, 20, 21. Maybe some people are 45, okay? Either way, that's going to take that. Your specific situation is going to dictate a majority of the things that you're going to do, okay? So you can't just automatically do what I'm going to tell you guys do. But if you guys can focus on the message that I'm trying to relay here, then you guys should be able to walk away with something that you should be able to use, okay? So back to my LinkedIn. Now, I'm using my LinkedIn as a resume, okay? You don't want to just have your LinkedIn as a resume. You obviously want to have an actual resume too, but essentially your work experience on your LinkedIn and on your resume, they need to be the same, okay? They need to basically be in synchronity. They need to be asynchronous. They need to be the same, okay, guys? And why is that? Because if you go and apply to a place with a resume, and then they go and look at your LinkedIn, and they see that your LinkedIn has completely different job history than your resume, their immediate thought is going to be, okay, this person is lying, or this is the wrong person that we're looking at. You don't want them to think either of those two things. You want them to think that they can easily find you because they want you. You want them to think that you're a real person because you are real people, right, guys? And you also don't want them to think that you're lying. Okay, so let's talk about my experience here. All right, so we're gonna start all the way at the bottom from back in 2006 for me. Now, what you guys are going to have to do in this situation with your resume and your LinkedIn, whatever method it is that you're giving your proof of work, proof of essence, proof of work history to people, let's say that you have done zero, absolutely zero zip zocho nada in IT or in tech. Okay. Let's say that you actually have worked at McDonald's. Let's see, we've had people who've worked at a fast food restaurant. We've had to do basically just what I'm about to tell you guys. Right. Let's say that you've worked as a school teacher. Let's say that you've worked as literally at accounting, literally anything other than something that has to do with software development or tech and IT. So what you guys want to do is you want to take your resume, add everything to it, all of your history, as many bullet points, as much information about each position as possible. Okay. And then from there, you're going to narrow it down. After you've added everything, you're going to go back, read all of it, and then begin to remove all the useless stuff. Okay. And when I say useless stuff, I mean, like if you are a McDonald's drive-through employee, you don't have to say things like, hey, delivered fast food to the customers through the fast food delivery window. That kind of goes without saying, and so therefore that's kind of useless information, okay? So that's what I mean by removing useless information. Now, the next most important thing you need to do is you want to be able to tailor everything that you have done in previous jobs that is either anything involved with a computer or software, or anything that you could consider to be involved with computer and software, and change the wording on it to be as closely IT related as possible. Okay. Now, the reason why we're showing my LinkedIn here is to show you guys exactly how I did that. So I've done this to mine, okay, years ago. Now I'm going to tell you guys, I'm going to read what I have on here, and then I'm going to tell you guys exactly what I have written down means. So guys, give me 1 second. Let me put this. Guys, I need to put light in the wage cage. Hold on, guys. Good boy. All right, he listened. I didn't have to get up, guys. Very nice. Matt W says, looking good, champ. I thought you were LFA for a second with that beard. No, I don't have that strong of a beard. In a world of Costanzas, be a Josh, not a George. George is my uncle, bro. George, when am I going to get that trust fund money, dude? I want my $1 million, George. Light has escaped his wage cage. I was real the last time I checked. Good to hear that you are real, and that when you checked that you were real, you can confirm that you are indeed real. Max says you don't even need to change industries. Every industry has programmers. You can leverage your industry knowledge to get a coding related job or a job in coding. This is very true. And Max, we've seen people in DD who have done just that, right? It was like kind of like a lateral moving over. That's actually a pretty good sweet spot. And while we're on this topic, let's talk about this some more, Max. Thank you. So basically, guys, not everybody has every industry has programmers in it, but not every company kind of has programmers for their team or whatever. But some people do. Okay, so let's say if you work at a company and you have developers that you kind of work with or you talk to, that would be my first place to target, if I'm being honest with you. It depends. Excuse me. It depends on your job and your boss too, because that may or may not make a difference. But that if that is a possibility for you, that is a very, very, very opportune thing, my friends. Light has transcended and become ungovernable. Dude, he is ungovernable. He's so ungovernable. Lady Shadow Coder in the chat. Which one? Oh, Danielle. Hashtag free light. Well, he just gets in the cage and then the door's open. Like, don't make me lock that door, dude. Like, do you need to go in the cage? All right, guys. So back to the topic at hand. Sorry for getting distracted. Okay. So my first job position. All right. And if you are somebody that you have zero job experience, you should go and do some volunteer work at something, and you should target volunteer work for free. Okay. If I'm talking about if you have zero job experience. Aurelian, we had to do that with him. And I think maybe some other younger people we had to do that with. But in that case, you could just go pick your poison. You can go and just target an IT related, like non-for-profit type of maybe like unpaid internship. But at this time, guys, the beginning of my resume, I had no experience except for some stuff that I did in high school. All right. So here I am about to graduate college, no job experience on paper other than just like manual labor and some stuff that I did in high school. Now, I had to put something on my LinkedIn and my resume because it was blank. Okay. So what did I do? I put my digital analyzer position from high school. Now, you guys don't know anything about, if you guys don't know anything about Louisiana, we don't have counties like everywhere else. We have parishes. So I worked every summer as a good old high school boy. I worked every summer for our local parish, or what you guys would say county. Okay. And what exactly did I do? I don't even know what the position's name that I had, but it most certainly wasn't digital analyzer. Okay. This is what I would say is a quote unquote white lie or a dark truth, we could say. But no one at that department really gives a rat's ass because they were all the 80-year-old women, and they were all just wanting to just pinch my cheeks and just say, "Oh my God, it's a good boy. He knows how to use a computer." So if someone were to call these people and say, Josh Costanza, he worked as a digital analyzer, they would say, "Yeah, sure, whatever." All right. That's again something that might be nuanced to you guys in your particular situation, but I'm just telling you guys mine as an example. Okay. So what did I do at this job, guys? Basically, I took very, very old maps, physical maps of a bunch of street lights and piping in Jefferson Parish, Louisiana. And I took these maps, these physical pieces of paper, like this State Farm folder right here. I took these maps, I put them in a Xerox fax machine, I scanned them, and then I pressed a button to send it to the internet. Okay. And that is why we called it digital analyzer. Now, that doesn't sound like a very like IT software developer related job, right? You might think, well, this job has nothing to do with software development or IT. Well, my friends, why don't you guys take a look at how I worded this job? So I digitized and transferred maps into a database for network access. I digitized, there's a buzzword right there, and transferred maps into a database, another buzzword, for network access. Two more buzzwords, okay? I think you guys get the drift on that. And this is not a lie. I did indeed digitize these maps. I scanned them from their physical being, pressed a button that basically ran it through some software that transformed it into either I was a PDF or I don't know the file extension, but anyway, it was a digital file. And then it got sent to a database so that everyone in the parish, all the parish employees, could use this thing for their intranet, for network access. So there you go. Perfect example of taking a situation that is not technical or IT related at all and adding buzzwords to it to make it sound more technical, more IT-esque, we could say, and to have buzzwords in there that can allude that you might know a thing or two about software development. Max Anita says unpaid internships still cheaper than a boot camp. Yes, indeed. Matt W says, I'm doing great, Mr. Sodo. I thought you were talking to me. I thought you were talking to me. Okay. So, second job right here, guys. Now, I went to the good old University of Ole Miss. Hotty toddy, gosh almighty, who the hell are we? Hey, flim flam, bim bam, Ole Miss, by damn. I went to Ole Miss and I was in the computer science department, and I literally was a TA. I was a teacher's assistant for computer science 111 and 112 laboratories. So that's pretty software development, computer science related. I didn't have to change anything on there at all. As you guys can see, this kind of alludes to my current, I guess we could say, career as a software development career coach and mentor, but basically being the owner of DD. You guys can see the foreshadowing in my past, huh? So I didn't have to change anything for here. Okay. Now, next position was something else that I did in the summers of college, and I gave myself the title of engraver and graphical analyst. Now, this was most certainly not my title on paper, but this was the most weighted towards IT type of title that I could give myself for this position that would add some sort of or allude to the fact that I was doing something that was IT or technical by nature. Okay. Engraver / graphical analyst. And I did engrave, and I was analyzing some graphics per se for this company. Okay. So let's see what I wrote here. Engraver and graphical analyst, I edited and proofread incoming client art assets. That is a software development term right there, TM. So boom, we have some more fluff, some more buzzwords, some padding in here to make this position look good, to make it look IT related. Okay. That said, I operated the blah to transfer proofs to the machine. So I put the name of the software that I was doing graphical work on, and then I said I transferred proofs. I mean, this is kind of self-explanatory, but this does have a taste of IT to it. Okay. And then I named the machine. Okay. So honestly, basically the same thing as we did down here, digitized and transferred maps into a database for network access. Okay. So taking two mundane, non-tech, non-IT related positions, wording them in a manner that alludes that you know a thing or two about tech and IT and software development, adding buzzwords in there, putting a little salt, a little pepper, a little tone of sachets if you are from New Orleans, Louisiana, or anywhere in Louisiana for that matter. And that's it, guys. That is exactly what you need to be doing, regardless of your situation. Now, just like I said earlier in the stream, this is going to be extremely nuanced for literally almost everybody. Everybody's situation is going to be different. Us over at DD, we do a pretty damn good job with me and the rest of the group coming up with a good scheme for each and every person for this. So I can't do that for you guys live on stream. But if you need help, ask some people who you think that can help you on that. Okay. Now, after this, guys, I got my first position as a software developer. Okay. So at this point, you're all good. Okay. You're all good at that point, and then you can just put that on your resume. And that's it. You don't have to do any of that anymore. Okay. Yeah, apparently I work at Guava Labs in developer direction right now. Do you guys even know any idea what those companies are? Never heard of those companies. So I think you guys get the drift on that. Max Nita says it's good to filter your job descriptions to just include whatever is relevant to the role you apply for. Yes, and that is another thing, Max, that we do indeed, as you know, because you're in the group, we do indeed discuss many times. In fact, guys, sometimes we have people have multiple different resumes and change them or only give that specific resume to a certain position they're applying. Okay. And changing and vice versa. We call this phishing, and quite literally because it's literally fishing. It's like you're taking a different fishing lure, you're throwing it out into the water, you're seeing what fish are going to give you a hit, right? If you have two resumes, if you have two different fishing tackle setups, fishing bait setups, okay, and one gets significantly more hits than the other, and one resume gets significantly more hits than the other, then you know that one direction is a little bit better or going to be more fortuitous than another, right? So that's about, I mean, honestly, guys, that's about to the fullest extent what you need to do as far as your resume, okay? I would still remove as much things as possible that are going to be irrelevant to tech and IT, but anything and everything that you guys can take and mold and add those buzzwords in to make it more IT and tech related, you need to be able to do. Okay. Obviously, developerdirection.com, if you guys do need help with that, and we do a exquisite job at that, might I add. But if not, guys, and let's say you can't afford it or you don't have the time, then like I said, go and find somebody. In fact, I would suggest this. I would suggest anyone that you know who is a software developer or a software engineer, have them look over your resume and ask them, hey, how can I change this? How can I reword this to where this is going to be more positioned to be advantageous of me applying for a specific software engineer or software development job? If they can help you with that, that's going to be a big benefit. Okay. But if not, then you're going to have to figure out those kind of things yourself, my friends. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's about all I have. I think that is a pretty distinguished enough. I think that's a pretty distinguished enough description of the act of chopping up and hacking your resume to make it to where it's going to be a powerful tool that you guys can use in order to go and source some income from your talents as a software engineer. So, as always, my friends, learn how to code, learn how to change your own tire. Just self-custody your heckin' crypto, guys. Don't leave it on exchange or you're cruising for a bruising. Link in the description box below for all the aforementioned things, except for changing your tire. You guys are going to have to figure that out on your own. Unless you guys want me to make a YouTube video of how to change your tire. I don't know. It's going to be a pain with the Bronco. I could probably do it. But if you guys want me to, leave a comment in the video and say, Josh, please make a video teaching us how to change our tire. That is it. I am out. And as always, see ya.